Okay, we're ready.
Would you all please rise for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I would like to call the December meeting of the Edgar County Board to order. And Mr. Clerk, would you call the roll?
Certainly. Lawton.
Here.
Ludington. Patrick.
Here.
Bruner.
Here.
Ellis.
Here.
Farnham. Voigt.
Here. We have 3 sets of minutes that you've received. The November 4th, 2024 public hearing minutes. The November 6th regular meeting minutes. The November 27th, 2024 regular meeting minutes. To approve, accept and approve. You've all seen them. Are there any additions or corrections? Hearing none, is there a motion to accept or approve those minutes? Andy moves, Russ seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. We have claims against the county. You've likewise had those for a few days. Are there any additions or corrections to those claims?
Guys, don't talk to each other, got it?
Hearing none, motion to approve. Andy moves, Russ seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. They are approved. County board member claims. Are there any questions or clarifications needed? Hearing none, motion to approve. Dan moves. Russ seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. They are approved. Now we come to the point of the meeting for public comment. Is there any, we ask that you identify yourself and make your comments within 5 minutes. Are there any public comments today?
Ask a question, dude.
Yes, sir.
Is that state law to get 5 minutes?
No, it's every jurisdiction passes a procedure. It can be amended in something allowed different if we wish.
Now, the reason why I asked, Champagne's having a fight over cutting it down to 3 minutes, I just wondered if it's 5 minutes is state law or not.
It's kind of informal.
Okay, all right, thank you.
You know, we've had times where we've allowed different things depending on the subject and, you know.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Hearing none, we'll move along to Highway Resolution 2025 County Maintenance Resolution BLR 14220, appropriating funds from the county motor fuel tax allotment for the maintenance of county highways for the period beginning 1/1/25 and ending 12/31/12/31/25. That was easy for me to say. We had that described to us at the study session. Josh, do you have any specifics to give us there?
That's just the annual GM program, so
Okay. I don't remember the specific amount. Do you have that?
I believe it's 700,000.
Okay.
Went from, like you said, 650 to 700,000.
Yes.
I had forgotten, sorry. Motion to approve. Carl moves, Russ seconds. Any further discussion? Mr. Clerk?
Lawton.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Bruner.
Yes.
Ellis.
Yes.
And Farnham.
Yes.
Okay. Next, we have set dates, times, and location for 2025 board meetings. Mr. Clerk?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Clerk? We could do this all day.
You've had that for a few days now. Questions, comments? Josh and I coordinate every year and make sure that neither one of us are off track. Normally it's me, not him, but
Same as what you gave us the other day,
it's the same.
that we discussed at the other meeting.
And then,
I'll make a motion that we approve that.
okay, Carl moves. And, who seconded? Russ? Russ seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed? Okay, it is approved. Then we go ahead and look at the study sessions. Again, I assume everybody has looked at those and you've worked those out with the highway department. Any corrections or any questions about that? Hearing none, motion. Dan moves, Andy seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? They're approved. And then lastly, the road and bridge meetings. And they should coincide with the study sessions. So is there a motion to approve those? Andy moves, Russ seconds. Further questions? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. They are approved. Next, we have a report from Jonathan, Executive Director of the Human Resources Center. And we've got the 708 report. Jonathan, you have the floor, sir.
Sure, I'm not sure if you guys have received this yet or not, but here's a paper copy. I'm here to report on the 708 board, and it's time for our annual report. Just a little history on the 708 board. 1968 is about when is the year that Illinois passed the 708 mental health and mental health addiction treatment and developmental disabilities act, and which allowed counties to be able, our municipalities, to pass a law that moved property taxes to organizations like us. And really it was created as a county entity at that time and then turned into a nonprofit, which was all part of the state law. That's how we got here today to where I'm like even talking to you. So we receive a significant portion of taxpayer money, specifically property tax money from the county. This past year, we received $524,000, almost $525,000 in property tax money from Edgar County specifically. So I prepared a report which you have in front of you. The most significant thing that we've seen during this past year has been the elimination of the wait list. Basically, if you need mental health services or addiction treatment services, you can get it at HRC and you don't need to wait. It wasn't that many years ago, I want to say 3 or 4 years ago, I was telling you about 450 person wait lists. And that was the situation. It's no longer that situation now. We've had to make some changes. We've been a little bit more stern, you may have heard, with our addiction treatment clientele. We've learned we were certainly being played as an entity or kind of in the game of things with certain a good portion of that population who had figured out a system of like telling their probation officer, oh, I got an appointment scheduled, so I'm getting compliant, I'm not compliant yet, but I'm getting the compliance, I'm doing the right things, and then canceling with us or no showing with us, and then, so we had to break that cycle. We've implemented like a 90-day ban If people are not compliant with their treatment, then they are going on 90-day ban, which has led to some probations being violated because they don't have an appointment, and you know, it basically led to the natural consequences that should have occurred when you're not compliant with court orders, instead of allowing that to continue to play out. So that's one area we saw some changes, and we saw less people served in that program. I don't necessarily believe that that's devastating, because again, we had more people who are not allowed to come to the program who were clogging up the system, and really that was exasperating. It was creating that whole addiction treatment line for services, because certain people were just always in the system filling up appointments and schedules, but weren't actually coming and getting services. And so clearing that out really just allows people to get the service they need. Notably this year, we're looking at, if it wasn't for this property tax money, this property tax money was created to go to an organization like HRC because there's a recognition that there's a huge need for these services, but there's never going to be adequate funding to make these things happen for a for-profit entity. You can see the hospital gets into it a little bit, they're nonprofit as well, something to know. But, I mean, organizations aren't fighting over the work because there's not money in it, or else we'd be inundated with providers. HRCs, we're looking at losing $280,000 in mental health services alone this year. $295,000 in addiction treatment services. This is for both counties, and $184,000 for rehab services, which is intellectual and developmental disability services. That's how much services are underfunded from the insurances we bill and the private pay we get and so on. That's why we need the funding, and that's why we continue to be dependent on this property tax money. It's because that is currently filling that hole. That without that, these services would not exist. We wouldn't have these mental health services, addiction treatment, or IDD services in our county. What I love about this is that it's us taking care of us. You know, we're taking care of our own people in our own county, and in my experience, that's what actually works. That's what you can count on. You can't count on the feds or the state to come save us when bad things happen. We all know that. We've all seen it. So the reality is we take care of our own, and that's where HRC came into existence because of that. Other notable items on here, we did have an increase of 136 crisis screenings, even though the jail is now calling lifelines for crisis screenings because of some state contract shifts. So even though we've lost one of the people that were calling us for these screenings, we increased by 136 screenings in the past year, and that's primarily the ER here at the hospital. The LRP, which is our drop-in center, it did go 24/7 as of December of 2023, and that remains a 24/7 drop-in center. We recently improved the staffing on that and hired another licensed clinical therapist who is now the direct manager over that, so that we can really expand those services to some more support groups and things to people who aren't enrolled in HRC. I've always been kind of jealous of the fact that the hospital is able to do that with the cancer support group and so on, so I'm proud to say that we're able to do that and engage with some people who aren't enrolled actively in a more preventative way using that living room program. And then the IPS model, the IPS program, which is an employment program, we help people with mental health issues get jobs, because let's face it, like if you don't have a reason to get up in the morning and you're not bringing home a paycheck, it's hard to find value in your life sometimes. That's something that we all recognize, especially as Midwesterners. We're kind of, you know, get up and go to work, right? Like, like that's just how we tend to be wired. This is a really great program. HRC has the highest fidelity score in this program in the country. I mean, we are tied with the highest. No one has a higher score than we do, and The fidelity of the program goes to the fact that it is a very successful program. It's a model that university created. If you follow the model, you'll be successful and people will get and retain jobs. And HRC is killing it. We just doubled our grant this year in this program because of our success. And it's largely, we've had all these new mental health clients coming in, so we've had lots of people coming in saying, hey, yeah, I'm unemployed or I'm underemployed, and then we're helping them as we're helping them with their mental health issues. I do want to say a quick note, thank you. You know, the Wheeler grant also, Jeff had contacted me a while back about the Wheeler Foundation, and HRC was blessed enough to get a grant from the Wheeler Foundation for up to $65,000 to purchase a brand new Ford Transit passenger van. So we just put that over in as well. Thanks for that call, Jeff. I appreciate that.
You never know when people from your past makes a difference who you know, so.
It does. Relationships matter.
Yeah.
I will note, I haven't talked about it all with this board. I put in my notice with HRC, so I plan on leaving HRC, or I'm leaving this role at least October of 2025. So the position will become open. If you know somebody's interested and capable, I would recommend that'll be posted probably in January of this year. Okay.
We appreciate our relationship that we've had with you.
I've been really blessed to work with you guys. I really love working with you guys. I do.
So I have a question. How come you guys can't come to the jail anymore? That was just kind of sprung on us.
On the crisis calls?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing it, we made the decision, it's kind of twofold now. There's the part of it that, like, HRC, we just won't get any kind of reimbursement for that. It's just it'll be a loss if we do it. Meanwhile, LifeLinks is contracted by the state to actually provide, or they're contracted by Rosecrans, who's contracted by the state to provide the service.
Just, any other questions? Or, I'm sorry, go ahead.
You're just talking about that life links or something?
Yeah.
Is that where is that at?
That's out of Mattoon.
Okay,
They take forever.
That's the
That's-
problem with
I see.
It's not
I mean, like,
convenient for
there be
everybody.
days where they'd ever come to see someone there.
It
when
can
you
take a
need it.
while for them to come to see somebody. Like if somebody, whatever, it could take them hours to get there, but where HRC was there usually within an hour.
Right.
And then say they put somebody on suicide watch, they're like, well, we'll be back within 48 hours, so you never know when they're coming back.
Mhm, okay.
We did, it was great when HRC did it, because we could call them and they would come up and talk to them pretty quick. And then usually the next day they would come back and talk to them. Because most of the time these people are just like, I'm gonna kill myself, and they're just pissed off. And they're just saying it, well, then we have to follow protocol. And the next day they're like, I didn't mean it. Well, we can't take them off suicide watch. Whoever put them on it would be the ones that take them off. But then we have to wait on lifelines now for up to 48 hours. And they don't get no hurry.
Yeah,
Which is-
they tend to deprioritize jails because they know that they can be locked away, right? Like,
Yes.
the suicidal risk is less, right?
Now, I was just curious how
It's not
that,
good for the client.
because all of a sudden we got a phone call, you got to call lifelines instead of HRC.
What kind of frequency is that?
What's that?
What kind of frequency do we have on that?
As in
How many people do that?
a lot.
I mean, like, once a week, couple times a month?
Sometimes it's a couple times a week.
Yeah.
And
They can-
you can't do
what'll
it because
happen
you
is
can't
they'll get
be
in trouble with
reimbursed
jail,
for it?
So they'll lock them down
Correct.
for whatever they've done.
And what kind of charge?
All of a sudden, I'm gonna kill myself, or I need to talk to lifelinks, or I need to talk, well, HRC is who they will say, but they have to call lifelinks, and it's a long process that shouldn't take as long as it does.
What type of expense do you incur doing that?
I really can't shoot from my hip. We have an agreement with Horizon Health. They decided to pay us directly to do the crisis service, to continue it with the ER, and they did a private contract in order to supplement us so that we can continue to provide that service to them.
I guess, is there, I mean, if we would have a conversation with you later on about maybe if we could make some kind of arrangement where you guys could come in, is that a possibility?
That's
I think
right,
it
yes.
is, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
as far as what you're, yeah, the road we're going down with this, yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's certainly.
We need to have that conversation.
Yes, we need to have
That
that
would be way more
conversation.
convenient for the jail.
Yeah,
As to where Lifelinks, well, we got all this other stuff going on, so we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah.
HRC usually was pretty quick about, and we, as many times as they were in there, we built rapport with the guys and the girls who were coming in. And they would talk to us and we would talk to them and they, did their thing. But Lifelinks comes in, they talk to them, then they have to call their boss and tell them what they told them. So the boss that's not even there is really the one making the call on what they should do with them. And they haven't spoken a word to these people.
well, we also need to look at what Medicaid, how it treats that also, mental health
Yeah.
issues.
Sure.
Yeah, we'll set up a meeting,
Yeah,
talk about it.
that's where I was headed,
Yeah.
but
Yep.
Sure.
thank you,
Yeah, it
John.
makes sense, concerning the problem.
Yep, that's good.
Yeah, and I think we had a great working relationship when it was going.
Instead of just doing nothing.
Yeah,
Well, I asked, somebody came in the other day and I asked them about it, and they said they voted, or they have something coming up, maybe next fall, where there's a vote, or however they did it last time to see about, I don't,
oh, maybe the contract's up again.
Something like that, yeah.
That could be, yeah, I'm not sure on.
so I,
that
yeah,
piece
and
of
she
it.
wasn't 100% sure.
Yeah,
She was just dropping paperwork off and I was asking her about it. And so, but yeah, it's way more convenient for us to have HRC, because they're right here in town.
yeah,
As long as it's symbiotic, everybody benefits from it,
sure.
including the patient.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's what stands out to me about that story is, the patient's gonna be locked up for, in suicidal, right?
And unfortunately,
Until
that just
they're clear.
pisses them off more.
Yeah, it doesn't make them feel better, yeah.
No, because they're stuck in the room with nothing, and they were just mad when they said it, and now they have to wait up to 48 hours or longer.
It's solitary,
Yes,
basically.
yeah,
Basically.
with a mat and a green smock. Nobody wants to be in that. Some people need to be in it, but not everybody necessarily needs to be in it.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else have anything else for Jonathan while he's
The
here?
company that they deal with now, you said they have a contract with the state?
Yeah, it's, is it the 988? Yeah, it's the 988 contract. It's the contract to respond to like those 988 calls, mobile crisis response for Edgar County. So they're supposed to, like if you call from your house, 988, and they determine that they need to send somebody out in person, they're supposed to come in person, in theory. Now,
So the state pays
if it's
them?
determined that you're a risk to them, then they're going to send police instead, because that's just what that's what's gonna happen, that's who's trained.
Okay.
Yeah. But they also handle the jails, the same contract. And Cindy Spencer joined, of course. Yeah, that was a nice addition. She's the Kansas superintendent.
We still need one more.
Do we? Is that right?
It's not right yet.
Okay.
We will.
We will, yes.
Yes,
'cause
well,
Bob-
I'm just
yeah.
reminding you,
Yes.
I'm a nag.
I appreciate it.
Well, don't wanna forget about Bobby,
Yeah.
okay?
We'll still need someone.
Thank you again for being here and for your service.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is to file sheriff's semi-annual report. You have that in front of you. Did the sheriff give you anything to say about this, Matt? Okay. Is there a motion to file the sheriff's semi-annual report? Matt. Carl will make a motion to file the report, followed by
Dan,
No, no. Russ makes the second.
he beat
Russ,
us. Oh,
Russ beat you,
okay.
makes the second.
Thanks, Russ.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those against, it is filed. Next, Mr. Clerk, you have a semi-annual report. Did you have anything you wanted to highlight?
Not necessarily highlight anything outstanding other than the consistency of the income.
How does that compare, I'll throw you one, how does that compare with the 6 months, same period last year?
Within $1,000,
Really?
yes.
Are you just making that up, or did you?
If we weren't public, I would say yes, but no. No, I was surprised, but it is.
Oh, no, that's good, because I figured it'd be down a little bit, but,
I've got a quick, I know all these different items here, it says total for the general fund, so that goes back into the general fund. And then these other three, doc storage, GIS, and vital records, where does that go?
Into those three
They've got their own
separate
separate,
dedicated accounts, yeah.
yeah, and they can't be used for
anything
other
but,
than, yeah. Can't get my hands on them. Motion to file that. Dan moves. Carl seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. They are filed. And thank you. Next, we have officer department heads. Augie?
I don't really have anything new.
Okay.
November was very busy for everybody, so we're glad that's behind us.
And you have the different precincts got their, what are they, their
oh,
Townships, caucus.
caucuses got done.
Yeah, caucuses all got done. So now they have to file paperwork with me, within the next couple of weeks, so.
Probably some have already filed.
And they have. So we'll catch our breath and we'll start back in, late November, we'll start early voting for the April 1st election, believe it or not.
When are the school board elections too?
Yes.
And
yes.
when do they do? Have they already filed?
Yeah, they had to file, in November,
Okay.
and, so they're all filed and,
so
We're
the
start-
townships and schools are all in April election?
yes, yep.
Time
And the
marches on.
villages.
April, jeez.
April 1st.
Any questions of Augie? Josh, do you have anything for the highway?
Nothing's changed.
Okay, have you heard anything more on the, our new antenna as far as, I know we said clearing would take place in January, but have we heard any more about the, equipment?
The company was gonna do the install stuff. We're still waiting on the structural report. They had some issues with their engineer, so they're getting addressed. So we should have that hopefully by the first of the year. It got pushed a little bit.
Huh, okay,
They, for some reason, whoever was supposed to do it didn't even start it yet. So they said they're never using them again, and they went to somebody else that they use all the time, and they said they guaranteed to have it, but it should have it by the first year at the
at
latest.
the same price?
Yeah, nothing's changed.
All right,
And they were really apologetic about it, but they said they've never had a problem with this person again, and he's like, they don't know if he forgot or what, but they said they're never using him again, so.
well, that doesn't help us much, does it?
Not making it quicker, but
All right. Pam, anything on your side of the highway department?
No, not at this time, except for a reminder for department head meeting on December the 18th at 10, so hope to see everyone there.
Okay, Tom?
Don't have too much going on right now due to weather, obviously. We're fully rented, selling some fuel. We got a replacement snowplow in, which is a big asset for us. Still waiting on our 22 and 23 fuel tax refunds from the state. Did attend a webinar last week, spoke directly with Bill Eads, who's in charge of that, and he said he'd see what he could do. So I sure appreciate that. Been waiting on this money for a couple of years.
And they've already announced our allotment
And
for,
that's the 24,
yeah. And we haven't got the, what is it, 38
22
or?
and 23.
Yeah, well, that's 38 or 39 grand,
Yes,
so, nice, huh?
yeah, it's coming.
But we're not the only ones. There's, I think, one or two of the airports in Illinois have got it, O'Hare and
Yeah.
Midway,
Yeah,
so,
But Mr. Eve said I'll see what I can do, so I feel a lot better.
yeah, I bet, right? It's in the mail?
yeah.
Hope so.
The project that we did, wasn't it this spring, summer, did that all get straightened out?
Well, we had some bumps, but they have seemed to fix themselves for some reason.
Okay.
Don't know why.
Well, they dried out and then they kind of went, and then they just flattened out and sealed themselves. That hot weather, dry weather seemed to have worked themselves out. The engineers are keeping an eye on them, so hopefully. Any other questions?
Now the bumps were cute, but they were, you might call them ripples,
Yeah.
maybe an inch to 2 inches high. It's not like they were a foot high or anything.
But we didn't want water or anything in them that could freeze and then separate even further. That was the fear, so. Jill? Oh, Dan, did you have a question?
I don't know if you read the paper, but Tom was nominated for the Paris High School Hall of Fame. Congratulations, Tom.
Oh, thank you.
And what sport?
Basketball.
Really?
Yeah, he's a pretty good basketball player.
Keep going, man.
Okay.
What position, Dan?
Huh?
What position?
He played guard, but he could
Center.
center, 40 feet, he could
Play
jump
every
40
position.
inches. He could jump 40 inches. Yeah, for a guy his size, that's pretty good. Did he play with you? Is that
No,
what you-
I taught all the 71 class how to play. They were freshmen when I was a senior.
Just thought I'd mention it. It's kind of
You
nice.
played tennis too, didn't you?
Yeah.
Was there any other sport?
Nope.
Just
Didn't run
tennis?
track. I wasn't.
Remember, he
running
was a
track.
good tennis player too.
Yeah. Okay,
You done?
I'm done.
Okay.
Thanks, Dan.
Anybody else that, you owe him breakfast now?
Hope I have time.
Okay. Jill, we'll now move on to you.
Got my chairs put together, thank you, Andy. Yeah, he did a great job. So those are all done now. Emotional moment last Friday, I gave Andrea all the keys, so she's officially, in there. She's starting construction, all that good stuff. We're keeping her trailer out there until spring, then we may move it to highway, or Scott gave us permission to move it out there, so whatever we wanna do to it. That's about it. We're just dealing with warming centers and getting hate messages because we don't have a homeless shelter and all that kind of stuff. So that's about it.
I saw about the warming centers. Are you kind of in charge of that?
Not really.
Okay.
The warming centers, so like we are in charge of like the emergency warming centers, like power goes out, snowstorm, people lose electricity, that type of stuff. Most of the, we had a big meeting at our big conversation of this at our regional meeting last Thursday, and the warming centers, we help coordinate them. So like we put it out, we make sure, you know, stuff, that the warming centers are just temporary
Right.
things that are open several hours a day. So,
Last weekend, I think, or,
well, yeah, so like
They
we have
have
our
the
warming
high
centers
school.
that like the Paris has set up, Crispin, they're light stuff, they're open year round, but they're only open like when they're like their business hours. been talking to Chad. Chad got the ag building up and running again, so it's under his discretion when they
Okay.
open it, because that would be basically under the city of Paris.
Right.
If they choose to do it overnight, that's them. If Metcalf decides to do one overnight,
Yeah.
that would be on, Metcalf to run it, because it's not an emergency sheltering situation. We don't do anything.
So Crispin had one, you said?
Crispin has, well, Mike always puts the fire station out if somebody's in need, but,
Okay.
they use the Crispin library
Okay.
as just the temporary.
All right.
So we have all this, handouts and stuff that's like defines what a warming center is and what an emergency warming shelter is and all that kind of stuff. So we were gonna do kind of something with, maybe get with Robbie or something and have them put something out or whatever.
Okay.
The fire chiefs normally coordinate all that
Yeah.
in the different areas.
Yeah, we have like all the Hume Community Center, Brockton Community Center, and like the mayors, they'll keep it open all during the day, and then at night, like, I don't know, they kind of go the same way, they're not really.
So I guess last weekend, that was just, it wasn't an emergency warming
No,
situation?
no, it was just,
Yeah. So if it was emergency, then you'd be the one that would call it and.
yes, like when we did it, when did we do it, when the derecho or whatever hit,
Yeah.
they ran it and
Right.
people could charge their medical equipment, that type of stuff. They had the option to stay the night, if they needed to, that type of stuff with those.
Okay.
Then, like when there's a bad storm and there's power outages, like here a couple of years ago, just to use Mike's example, he would, with young children and elderly, he would call people that he knew had power and then place people in homes with power. For example, we had 4 people in our home. And then he would place people in homes and then have transportation so that very young children and elderly had homes that they could go to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very local,
Right.
you couldn't probably do that in a big city, but you did
Right.
in ag areas.
I don't know if it's the acronym or what, we've had a lot of, calls about getting help with, their heating bill, or people calling and saying, my furnace is broke, what am I supposed to do? And I'm like, if I could, I'd buy you all like a portable heat, I don't know, but I'm like, unfortunately, we don't have anything to do, and like, other than, point them in the direction of a warming center that would be open to
Yeah.
maybe 6 o'clock at the library, or.
I think sometimes like that, like if someone needs help on heating bills, like townships can help.
Urba usually does, I think, is,
Yeah.
I don't
Yes.
know. That's who I think they're trying to get a hold of,
Yeah.
is Urba.
Yeah, the townships have a fund.
Right.
The
To be able
townships.
When I was
do.
up at Stratton, we helped someone once.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I know Paris Township does it, on bigger scale.
There's a circuit breaker? Something like that is available
Yeah, I'm not sure.
too. Anything else, Joe?
I'm still waiting back to hear on solar farm. They kind of put it out there like, the email or whatever, and it said, you let us know what you would like us to, or something, and I'm like, well, you were supposed to let us know, like, what is needed, to, if something would happen, emergency or whatever, and I haven't heard back from anybody, so.
I haven't been able to check our funds in yet. Have you heard anything about your reimbursements yet?
Which,
Well, you get about 25
oh,
grand.
EMPG, I don't know, I have to check on it and say, I know we've gotten some, but I don't know.
Well, you got about half of it in the
Yeah,
last.
but I said I don't think we've gotten the rest of it yet.
All right, okay. Taylor, how are you doing?
I'm good. I don't have anything.
Okay.
Nothing new.
Know you've been meeting with Carl and going over stuff.
Yeah.
Got a lot going on.
Lots
Okay.
going on.
Philip,
Nothing from the state's attorney's office.
Matthew, Ryan? Okay. Well, we're looking forward to getting together.
Got a question, I don't know whether you're aware, whether you know or not. We've advertised twice for people to look at the annex to take a tour. Has anybody contacted your department, or do you know?
I can't answer mention that. I'll
Maybe
check
talk,
with Jim.
hey, maybe talk to Jeff, I was just curious whether anybody's came to actually look at the building or not.
I'll ask.
Yeah.
Has anybody called your office?
No, I haven't heard a thing. I just, the sheriff picked those 2 dates and times,
Yeah,
but short of that, I've not heard a thing.
okay, I'm just curious. if
That's
anybody-
coming up here soon, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it is.
21st or something?
Yeah, I'm
Or
sorry.
something like that. Well, I got that right here.
End of next week, I think is when it's due,
Yeah, and then we open the
The
bids up
bids.
at the study session.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay, just curious.
Don, I think, was in the office yesterday briefly. He's doing better. So. All right. Committee reports. Danny?
I had nothing. I talked to Andrew last week and everything's okay. I think she got the pins covered for the winter, so, which is good.
Yeah, I was out
I
there.
hadn't talked to her about moving into the end, or the, Asda building, but she has plans, I know, so. So, other than that, everything's okay.
Andy?
Things are going on, but nothing to talk about.
Russ? Carl? Lisa?
Health Board, monthly meeting is next Wednesday, as is the elected official department head meeting. We got the latest email from UCCI, and I had emailed you. There's the next membership meeting is on January 27th, and I plan on attending that since Springfield this time, if anybody wants to go with me. There's just enough of those that make them worthwhile. So if I can fit them into my work schedule, I could attend some of those. And that's it.
I noticed I forgot to put on the agenda, or did we approve the committees? Did we do that?
I don't know if we
Well-
approved them. You asked us on Monday whether
Yeah.
we needed any revisions to it, but
Yeah,
is that the way you,
yeah, that's the way it,
so, you know,
And we
I
had-
don't know that we've necessarily approved them. I didn't.
yeah.
Well, they're,
Chairman appoints the committees.
yes, they'll stay the same,
Yeah.
okay? If you have the minutes reflect that, we'll just keep the committees the same.
Yep.
Do we need a closed session for any reason at this point? Want to remind you about the meeting tomorrow at 11 o'clock.
Want me to give an update on Ludington, or is that,
I don't think that's
Okay.
appropriate.
I talked to him yesterday, so.
Okay. I mean, okay. Anything else to come before the meeting today? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn, please. Russ moves, Andy seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. We are adjourned, and I didn't get a chance to tell you, but that coffee cake is for the board. The gals at the office brought that out for you if you would like some.
We adjourned?
We're adjourned.